Welcome back to the Crime Tapes podcast. I'm your host, Nessa, and today we're embarking on an in-depth exploration of one of the most notorious and enigmatic cases in true crime history, the Zodiac Killer. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll delve into the chilling details of this case, unravel the mystery surrounding the killer's identity, and examine the profound impact it has had on criminal investigations and popular culture. Our story begins in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s, a time marked by fear and uncertainty due to a series of brutal and mysterious murders. The Zodiac Killer, whose name evokes a sense of dread, started his reign of terror in 1968. His first confirmed victims were high school students Betty Lou Jensen and Darlene Farron, who were found shot to death in a remote area in Vallejo, California, on July 4, 1969. Let's set the scene. Vallejo was a relatively quiet town, and the shock of these murders sent ripples of fear through the community. Betty Lou Jensen and Darlene Farron were enjoying a moment of privacy, parked in Farron's car, when the Zodiac Killer approached. The crime scene was brutal. Jensen was found dead at the scene, and Farron was mortally wounded. The sheer violence of the attack was staggering and left the local authorities grappling for answers. The Zodiac Killer's communication with the public began just a month after these initial murders. In August 1969, he sent a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. This letter was not only a declaration of his crimes, but also included a cryptogram, a cipher that the killer challenged readers to solve. This cryptogram would become the first of many, with some remaining unsolved to this day. The letter was signed with a symbol that would become synonymous with the Zodiac Killer, a circle with a cross through it. The Zodiac Killer's letters were more than just confessions. They were elaborate psychological games. He often included threats and taunts aimed at both the police and the public. For instance, in a letter dated July 31, 1969, he included details about the murder of a young couple, and ended with a warning about his next target. The letter also contained another cipher, which only added to the growing sense of dread and anticipation surrounding his next move. In the summer of 1969, the Zodiac Killer escalated his activities with the murder of another young couple. On July 4th, Michael Mageau and Darlene Farron were attacked while sitting in Farron's car. This time, Farron was killed, but Mageau survived and provided a crucial eyewitness account. His detailed description led to a police sketch that would become one of the most recognizable images in the investigation. The sketch depicted a man with a prominent forehead and a distinctive hairstyle, characteristics that would become central in the search for the killer. One of the most disturbing aspects of the Zodiac Killer's modus operandi was his use of cryptic messages. These letters were not only taunts, but also complex puzzles designed to engage the public. The Zodiac Killer's ciphers were meticulously crafted, with some being solved relatively quickly, while others remained enigmatic. The most famous of these ciphers is the 340-character cipher, which took decades to crack. This cipher was eventually solved by a team of amateur codebreakers in 2020, revealing a message that was both chilling and cryptic. The message spoke of his desire to continue killing and his enjoyment of inflicting pain, furthering the horror of his crimes. The Zodiac Killer's communication strategy was a form of psychological manipulation. His letters often included cryptograms that he challenged the public to solve. The killer's taunting messages and cryptic ciphers were designed to create fear and uncertainty, not just among his victims, but also in the broader community. For example, in a letter dated April 20th, 1970, he included a warning about his next target and boasted about his ability to evade capture. This letter also contained a cryptogram, adding to the sense of dread and anticipation surrounding his next move. The investigation into the Zodiac Killer was one of the largest and most complex in American history. Law enforcement agencies from multiple jurisdictions worked together, trying to piece together the evidence and identify the killer. Despite their efforts, the Zodiac Killer was remarkably elusive. His ability to evade capture and his erratic behavior made it difficult for authorities to predict his next move. His last confirmed murder was in 1969, but his letters continued until 1974. After that, his communication ceased, and he vanished into obscurity. Over the years, there have been numerous suspects and theories proposed. One of the most prominent suspects was Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester who died in 1992. Allen was considered a prime suspect due to his criminal history and certain similarities to the Zodiac Killer's profile. However, despite extensive investigation, Allen was never definitively proven to be the Zodiac Killer. More recently, genetic genealogical methods have been applied to investigate potential suspects, but none have been conclusively identified. The Zodiac Killer's case has left a lasting impact on both the public and the field of criminal investigation. It has inspired a plethora of books, films, and documentaries, each exploring different aspects of the case. The Zodiac Killer's story has become a central topic of fascination for true crime enthusiasts, blending elements of psychological manipulation, cryptic messages, and unresolved questions. In popular culture, the Zodiac Killer has become a symbol of elusive evil, a figure who represents the darker aspects of human nature. The case has influenced countless works of fiction and nonfiction, including films like Zodiac, 2007, and documentaries such as The Zodiac Killer, Case Closed, 2021. The fascination with the Zodiac Killer continues to thrive, with new theories and discussions emerging regularly. So, what can we definitively say about the Zodiac Killer? We know he was a manipulative, elusive, and ruthless individual, a master of psychological warfare. His ability to send taunting letters and ciphers, combined with his brutal methods, has made him a figure of enduring mystery and intrigue. Despite all the evidence and theories, his true identity remains unknown, adding to the enigmatic nature of this case. Thank you for joining us as we delved into the dark and captivating case of the Zodiac Killer. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for more in-depth looks into intriguing true crime cases. Your support helps us continue to bring you these compelling stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the truth is often more elusive than it seems.